Hey guys, Uncle Jay here with a terrible microphone because my nice one died on me. So apologies for the audio quality. Back in my single days, in my 20s, I had this ridiculous sexual bucket list of traveling the world and having sex with a couple of women from each country. It couldn't be just one in case it was just a bad experience, a dud. So it's got to be probably three. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, how am I going to accomplish this goal? I didn't have to. I live in America. Everybody from around the world lives in the United States. That's one of the things I love about this country so much is this cultural diversity, cuisine, music, everything. And they're all here. If you wanted to date a gal from the Czech Republic, you'll find one in America. Australia, you'll find one here. Congo, anywhere. They're in America. It's great. So I kind of went out of my way to try and date women from different cultures and stuff like that, different races, and I always ended up with white chicks. My favorite band, Electric Six, out of Detroit, they wrote a song called She's White. It's the same predicament. Same thing. I just always ended up with white chicks. With the exception of one gal I dated, is the first and only woman of color that I've ever dated. Happy Juneteenth, by the way. Yeah. This is such an embarrassing story. And not for me, but for her. And I always pump the brakes on telling this story. There were days where I'm like, I gotta tell this story. And then when I get set up to do it, I'm like, oh, no, I can't fucking do this. And today I made an exception because I'm getting a lot of comments on the video I posted about dating a squirter. I'm like, well, if I could talk about her, I could talk about this girl. I met her back in the days when I was jousting. I was traveling all over the place at Renaissance fairs and stuff, jousting, and I met her at these fairs, and she was at a lot of them. Really, really, really nice gal, and I'm not very receptive to like women flirting with me. I just think they're being nice, and but the bell started to ring, and her and I were talking, and she's like, "Where at in SoCal do you live?" I said, "I'm down in Ventura," and she said, "I live in Sacramento." I'm like, "I figured you were up here around here somewhere," and because that's where I'd always see her was in Northern California at these festivals and stuff. And she said, so damn hot in Sacramento. And I said, it's not bad in Ventura. We're by the beach. It's not too bad. It's pretty cool. And she gave me a wink, and she said, I want to come visit you one day. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be really cool. Now, guys' terminology for breasts varies. But when you hear certain words, it kind of, you have a mental picture of, the breasts in question. When you hear the word titties, you're kind of thinking like Taylor Swift-sized mosquito bites. When you hear boobs, obviously you're thinking of something bigger. Kerschloppers, you're maybe like beaver tails or tube socks with oranges in them. This woman had jugs. Big, beautiful jugs. She's decent looking too. She's got a really cool job. Well, I don't know if she still does. Fuck, I've been married for same woman for 14 years. I don't talk to anybody anymore. So we start emailing each other, and she said, I don't know, something like, hey, in a couple of weekends, are you free? I'd like to come down to visit. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll make time for you. You bet I will. She had long hair, braids halfway down her back. Just the biggest jugs. She had the biggest boobs on a woman I've ever had sex with. And she was on her way. She's all right, I just left my apartment. I'm heading your way to Ventura. I'll be there in about 6 hours. I'm like, all right, I'll be waiting. Fuck, I shouldn't be telling this story. Why am I doing this? she showed, at the time, I'm renting a room at my friend Ted's house. So there's Ted, his girlfriend Victoria. I got another roommate, and it's me. So there's 4 of us in this house. She arrives, she gets there. Can I help you with the bags? I grab her rolling suitcase. She gives me a peck. I'm like, oh, that's nice. We go inside. And she said, I need to use your bathroom real quick. I'm like, yeah, no problem. You're on the road for 6 hours. You got to take a leak. I'm one of those guys, so like when I'm traveling, I'm on the road. If anytime I stop for fuel, I go to the bathroom whether I need to use it or not. I don't like stopping. And I just had the mindset that maybe she's the same way. Jesus Palomino. Guys, she absolutely destroyed my toilet. She blew it up. Bad. Like the paint peeling off the fucking walls, bad. She took a really nasty shit in Ted's house. She comes out, and we're just kind of chatting, and the fumes from the bathroom is just kind of circulating around the house like a specter, like a ghost in a haunted house looking for somebody to torment. It was really bad. Shortly after she came out of the bathroom, Ted and his girlfriend Victoria, they like grabbed their keys, and Ted walked by and gave me this look as he's walking by, like that. He knew it wasn't my brand. I leave the fan on after I take a dump, and I kind of leave the door ajar, you know. Oh, fuck. And I tell her, I'm like, let's go get some ice cream. So we go out and get ice cream and stuff, and then we come back to the house. It still smells. After like a good 45 minutes, the house still smells not as bad, but it still stinks. The house is empty. My roommates were gone, and the windows are open in the kitchen, in the living room, everywhere. And this wasn't a very like nice place in Ventura. We always kept the windows closed and locked, and if we weren't home. But everything was open, and it still kind of smelled. I'm like, oh, I know what I wanted to also take you. Let's go for a walk on the pier. I want to show you the beach. So I take her to the pier, and we had a lovely time. And I'm thinking eventually it's gonna find its way out of the damn house. And she's such a nice gal. Not such a nice gal. But that was a big turnoff for me. And that night we're fooling around. And I got to play with those big jugs, which was nice. And I'm cramming her from behind, and I'm thinking, my pecker's about an inch away from this turd cutter that just fucking drove us all out of the house. Why would she do that? Why? Like, if it were me going up to Sacramento, and you guys know me, if I'm going to take a shit, I'm going to find a place first, do that like an Applebee's or something, and blow up their toilet, and then drive the rest of the 2 or 3 miles I have left of this trip with the windows open in the car. I want no evidence at all. I don't want anyone to think that I just, I've done, oh God. I don't know why she waited to get to my place to take a shit. Do you have a reasonable answer? If you have one, leave it in the comments. Anyways, she lived in Sac, I lived in Ventura. Like, trying to date somebody that far away is just impossible. We had our little thing. We had our fun. It was what it was. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit like, hit subscribe. It's free. It just takes a moment of your time. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps my small channel grow. High fives and boners. I need therapy.